am DJ Abass, and it's another Thursday night of For the Record, and we have a full house today. We have Lasisi Eleno, the comedian, and also we have Fumbi Omotayo, another comedian. We have Yemi Shoele, who will be organizing the Nigerian Youth in Diaspora Awards. He'll be coming to talk about that event. We have Pencil, another comedian who has a show this weekend in London, this Sunday. And of course, we have Prince Debo Adesina, who is the convener of the Nigerian Lives Matter movement in South Africa, come here to tell us about the recent spate of xenophobic attacks in South Africa. And lastly, we have the musician Terry Akbala. It's a full house. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. But I'd like to welcome my very first guest, Mr. Prince Debo Adesina. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Thanks for coming. When the whole xenophobia thing kicked off, we were hungry to have conversations with people, particularly who live in South Africa. We didn't get the opportunity in the UK at the time, so it's really a great pleasure to have you here. He's the founder of Nigerian Lives Matter in South Africa. Tell us about your organization.
Well, actually, I'm wearing two caps.
Okay.
I'm the brand ambassador of African Diaspora Forum.
Based in South Africa?
Based in South Africa. Actually, we cut across some part of Africa as well. The organization came into existence in 2008 after the first xenophobic attack on foreign nationals.
2008?
Yes.
That was the first recorded one?
Yes,
okay.
That's the
11 years ago.
11 years ago, Alexandra. And Alexandra is a location very close to Santon, where the big boys hang around. And when this attack,
when you say big boys, what do you mean?
I mean that's the main hub.
So it's affluent area, part of town.
Very solid area where even when the presidents visits, where they have Santon Convention Center, very good, lovely place people visit.
Okay.
And immediately the attack took place. Some few foreign nationals, including myself and a man currently now in Marseille, France. His name is Marc Bafou. We met in a place called Yovo, where we had a sitting of how we're going to come around to, make things work between South African and foreign national.
And this was the 2008?
Yes.
Now, who were these particular attacks then? Who did it target?
It was,
in terms of nationality?
Nationality, Mandela was still alive.
Okay.
He disclaimed it. He was so sad about it. There was a Mozambican guy that was born alive.
Okay.
And they beat a lot of people, killed a lot of people in location. And that is how 5 days after the attack, we took on and formed this organization, African Diaspora Forum, which I'm currently the brand ambassador. 2 years ago, I took on myself to say Nigerian Lives Matter. And the reason why I took upon the Nigerian Lives Matter is just because we are the black, when you're talking about blacks, you have to talk about Nigeria. We are the highest black population in the world.
Did you form that organization, Nigerian Lives Matter, because you felt the African Diaspora Forum was not doing as effective a job?
No, I'm part of African Diaspora Forum.
But you felt you had to form a Nigerian Lives.
You see, when you want to talk about Africa, you have to talk about Nigeria.
Okay.
We are the most black population nation in the world. And Mandela made it very clear that if you want the world to respect Africa, Africa must respect Nigeria.
Okay. Let's go to the current spate of attacks that happened over the last couple of months. What triggered what actually triggered that?
Actually, there's been a lot of things around local, that's South African, claiming that the foreign nationals, they are doing all sort of, let me say, bad stuff in the country.
You live in South Africa, don't you?
Yes,
okay.
Drugs, prostitution.
How true is that, though?
Well, to be very honest, I must be very honest. There's some, criminality does not really have nationality.
Okay.
And there's a lot of crime around it, but that does not give South Africans the right to take law into their hands by killing fellow Africans.
Oh, nothing justifies it. Yes. But I'm just trying to picture this and kind of like be the devil's advocate here and balance it out. So part of what you hear coming out is there are certain Nigerians involved in certain criminal activity over time. You hear that, you know. So as somebody who lives there, could this be a reason to kind of like kick off the tension?
Very, 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 very good reason to kick up. We know that some of our Nigerians are involved.
Okay.
It's something that we cannot.
So what's the typical crime they commit?
Drugs, prostitution. I mean,
human trafficking.
Human trafficking.
Okay.
And this is something that even we as Nigerians, even the government of Nigerians are not happy.
We also hear there are kind of like Nigerian issues as well between
there are a
Nigerian
lot of
gangs.
confraternity war.
Okay.
There have been a lot of in-house fighting. When I use the word in-house fighting, different confraternity fighting one another, maybe for territory, drug related, maybe for fraud. I don't know, but I'm not part of them. I don't know much about them. But if I need to do my intel work, I suspect I'll get to see a lot of things that I cannot really share on the live.
But one of the caps you also wear, you're a private investigator and a security and immigration consultant. So obviously that perhaps puts you in a better position to actually be able to evaluate things a bit better. Your organization, Nigerian Lives Matter, how have you, going by this current spate of attacks, what have you been able to do really in terms of perhaps aiding some Nigerians who want to, go back to Nigeria? Repatriation has been very, very high on the agenda.
Actually, we are the first set of people. 3 years ago, I wrote to the Nigerian mission that let's start. One of the things that we can use to debunk or to try to kick against this stereotype is to start repatriating our people, because myself and my
before this current split of them,
myself and my late wife, who is also a South African, we started repatriating our people when they come to our center to ask for assistance. We assist them, taking them out. So I saw it as a need for Nigerians to start going back home, mostly those ones that are idle, because in South Africa there's no job. Even the local, they don't have their job. Talk less of the foreign national without documentation. So even
is that a big problem there?
It's a big problem, because even when you see the area where I cover immigration, that has to do in 2007 when I realized some of my Nigerian citizens were being given fake, even by South African so-called immigration agents. They cook stories for them, take their little money and give them fake, and they all end up being in trouble, because if you see currently what some of the South African governments are claiming are illegal migrants. So we always ask, how do they get into your country when you have so-called borders? Even the area of the drugs, you have you have your intel, you have your everything. How did the drug get into South Africa?
Well, what some actually do say is that the Nigerian criminal gangs are 2 layers down the echelon. That right at the top you have a lot of non-Nigerians, and then 2-3 layers down is where you get to the Nigerians who deal on the street.
You're very correct, because if you see, the only thing is the Nigerians in these nefarious activities are just the noisemakers. The main guys doing the shit, they're not even they're not even Nigerians.
You can't use that word on a watershed. We'll find you for
I
that.
Promise you, I have to take that one in a way that it touches me. I'm very emotional, because when I talk about Nigerian Life Matter, it's not about the killings in South Africa. Even some Nigerians are taking their own life, because if you are told not to go to Saudi Arabia for drugs, and you just stick your neck in there. So you don't appreciate your life. So we need to let them understand, appreciate your life. Don't commit suicide. Go to Taiwan, go to all those places where you know you're going to be killed. Going across Libya and whatever. So Nigerian Life Matters. So we have to educate them to say, keep your life. There's a lot of things you can do. Don't just drop your life.
And lastly, what role does the Nigeria High Commission, which is home for Nigerians in South Africa, what role do they play in all of this?
Actually, Nigerian High Commission has to do with governmental to governmental stuff. But the consulate office, the CG, Honorable Adamari, has been doing fantastic work. And even this last repatriation was not a government initiative, but it was a very wonderful Nigerian citizen, Barrister Oyema, that decided to say, you know what, let me assist these people. As I'm speaking with you, we have over 600 Nigerians, and that is ready to go, and that is what Nigerian Life Matter is trying to solicit. We want help. We do our own privately to repatriate people, and we decided to say we have a threshold to say, okay, maybe every month we can be taking 20 to 25 Nigerians back home voluntarily without anything. Let's take them back home.
So if anybody wants to reach out to you, what's your website? How can they get to you?
Go to nigerianlifematter.org. From there you register, you see where we're seeking for support, PayPal and whatever.
And more information about the organization.
More information about the organization.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. And you've heard it from him, nigerianlivesmatter.org, to get to know more about what all the initiatives in South Africa in terms of repatriating Nigerians who are stranded in the country. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Mr. Abass.
We're going on a break right now. When we come back, we'll be meeting our very next guest. Stay tuned. My next guest is the convener of the Nigerian Youth in Diaspora Award and the founder of the Nigerian Students Union UK, one of the most active personalities in issues relating around Nigerian youth in the UK. Yemi Ambassador Yemi Shoyele. How you did?
I did.
Finally. Go on the show. Okay. I need to say a bit about you before we go into those things, because right now, more than anything else, it's become very, very clear, especially within a lot of African communities now, that the youth is such a critical number and they need to be engaged. In terms of youth engagement, before we even go to why you're here, how well has Africa engaged its youth?
I think we all know that.
At home and abroad?
At home and abroad, I think we all know the issues. You know, for instance, Nigeria, where I come from, the youth comprises of about 75% of the population. Yeah. But when you look at, those active in governance, you see that, the youths are nowhere to be found.
You don't see us.
And
well, am I one of them?
You're one of in Nigeria. You're very young, compared to the UK, for instance, and in fact other African countries like Rwanda, for instance, coming up, imagine economy.
Strong.
They're now getting the youths involved in their parliament. The average age is about 45. So
64% women too.
Yes. So I think Africa at the moment, is way behind in terms of youth engagement, youth involvement in leadership, politics, and these are the things that we're trying to preach and also try to advocate for, to get young people to get involved, to take action, because these guys are not going to give you the space and the chance.
What role does culture play in that mindset, though? Is it part of our culture at times to just like shut young people up or keep them behind, or so is there a cultural influence in all of this?
I think there is a cultural aspect to it, but like when we're growing up, for instance, in school, we're told that we're the leaders of tomorrow. That was the ideology and the values and norms they gave to us. But when we started growing up, we found out that these guys that keep saying that we're the leaders of tomorrow, they're still there. They don't want to leave this position.
And most of them were in those positions
at the younger age.
20, in the late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, so I think, definitely the culture of being respectful, not trying to be disrespectful.
Question
leadership, is definitely there. And it wasn't until even me, I moved to the UK, that I began to, grow that, the confidence, and I became brave enough to, speak to leaders. If you put me in front of any leader around the world now, I'll speak to them one-on-one, like I'm speaking to someone that, is my age mate, not in a rude way, but
at least you get your point across.
Yes. So I think a lot needs to be done in that area, and that's one thing I'm also trying to work on with youths, to help them boost their confidence, self-confidence, their self-image, to be able to take on any situation that they find themselves in.
Let's come to the UK now. The UK has a the African diaspora in the UK it's estimated that the black population, black numbers in the UK is between 3 to 4%.
Yeah.
And the Nigerian percentage in that little number is quite significant, you know. And if you look at key indices to measure youth activity right now, entertainment is playing a huge role. So would you say the African youth in Africa and the African youth in the UK are very, very different in terms of mentality?
In terms of mentality, I think they're a bit different, I would say.
Okay.
The African youths in Africa, we know that they were born into the culture.
Yeah.
That they know the culture. They grew up into it. They know virtually a lot of the culture. Whereas in the UK, it wasn't until recently that Afrobeat started coming up. That a lot of young people started associating themselves or showing that they're from Africa. Like back in the days, you hear people that were born here that they will say, oh, they used to lie that they were from Jamaica because the means. Yeah, you know, if you said you were African, you're like a freshie, or you know. So I think the Afrobeat culture, the music, the entertainment is really helped, and it's helped to make young people begin to associate themselves with Africa. Even non-Africans like the Caribbean, they're beginning to retrace their roots back
to Africa.
And
entertainment.
Yes. So there's a bit of difference in that aspect.
If we talk about now, let's talk about the Nigerian Youth in Diaspora Awards. That's a very, very UK event, and you've come around this. You're having the inaugural edition
tomorrow. Yeah.
Just tomorrow.
Couple of hours.
Am I eligible?
Unfortunately,
a few years ago in Nigeria, a Nigerian youth leader for a political party, a 60-year-old, I'm sure you heard about it at the time, was youth leader.
I think
for the PDP. I can say that it's news. For a few years ago, youth leader at 60. So I'm very, very eligible if we go by those standards.
Definitely.
But who qualifies as a youth?
As a youth, I think first of all, age is a mindset thing. But in reality, I would say anyone above the age of, let's say, 35, between 35 and 40. Once you're above 40, once you're above 40,
you're no longer youth.
You're no longer youth.
I still qualified.
Yeah. The youth in Nigeria, you can tell that, their mindset is different from those that are here.
Yeah.
If you bring, for instance, I'm very active within the student community.
Yes.
And when you get international students come from Africa to study for their masters, and they try to get involved in the Nigerian societies, for instance, those that were born here, they see them are very old. And these guys are not, they're just in their early 30s or late 20s. But there's that gap, you can tell that what these guys know or the culture they're used to.
The advantage of being on this side.
So there's that disparity, there's that gap.
Does that kind of bring some kind of tension at times?
It does bring tension, and it's brought up about a lot of breakups within the Nigerian society that we, on the board, the national level, we have to go in and then reset and bridge the gap and let them know that these guys are just here to also be part of the movement, to be part of the society, so there's definitely that gap, that
element is there,
yeah, definitely.
Okay. And if we're talking about the Nigerian Youth in Diaspora UK Awards now, why did you feel the time has come to kind of like, what's your main goal, objective for this event?
Yeah, so we had been doing it with the students for the past 4 years
within the student community.
And what we found out was most of the young adults that were no longer students, they kept communicating, reaching out to us to say that, they want to be part of what we're doing, but they're no longer students. And, we kind of cater for just students alone.
Carry along.
Yeah, so we got this so much that, we had to think. And also, there were some issues that we couldn't deal with the student aspect. Like with the students, for instance, the students we deal with, most of them are already in university. They already know what they're going to do. They're not into crime. They're studying for their degrees, masters, PhD. So, but when we brought up issues like knife crime, gun crime, they withdrew. They weren't, because they didn't see themselves as part of it. So we thought, the time was ripe for us to, set up another organization that will cater for all young Nigerians and will be able to deal with all issues, head on. So those were the
little bits and pieces that, gave room for us to set this up. And we launched it last year. We launched the Nigerian Youth in Diaspora Organization last year at Imperial College. And part of what we decided to do was, to recognize young Nigerians that were high achievers, unsung heroes, people that people didn't even know about. So which we were already doing, like I said, with the students aspect. So we chose this date, which is tomorrow.
Okay, and it's happening at the Nigeria High Commission.
Definitely.
How do we get in? How can we get tickets? Or is it sold out?
It's a very private event, exclusive, because it's happening in the High Commission. We're not selling tickets.
Everybody, okay? So strictly by invitation.
Yeah, and definitely we all know what things have been happening recently. The attacks,
security has to be tight. Yeah,
and there's a lot of tension within the Nigerian political scene, and so we were warned and we had to be very careful because we've been doing it for a while in the past, and we've had no records of issues. Yeah, so they actually, in fact, out of 10 applications to do events, they were the only ones that they granted.
It's you now, yeah.
Yeah, so
what would they do? They don't have a choice.
It was difficult, I would say, because
but it came through.
It came through,
Okay, so is this going to be an annual event?
Yeah, it is going to be an annual event because there's a lot of young people doing very well. In fact, like I'm actually, this is one of the most fulfilling projects I've ever worked on because the amount of entries that we got were not the normal people.
Were the public entries?
Yeah, they were public, yeah.
Okay.
They weren't people that we already know that are already doing well,
There are so many.
There are so many.
And we've not even scratched the surface.
There were so many stories, of inspiration, young people that have strived and, made something good of themselves. Awesome. And they will be awarded tomorrow. So that alone, kind of gave me the sense of, although it's been very stressful, I must say, I've had sleepless nights. Just had my graduation.
That's what happened with events like this.
Yeah, so, but, I'm very happy that we're doing it. And a lot of people, we've been getting a lot of feedbacks. People want to come on board next for the next one. So, yeah, it's, and we're going to hand over, soon. So,
at some point. You're going to cross the 40 barrier soon. Well, I'd like to thank you. Thank you. No. Well, we're not far from 40 anyway. Thanks for coming on the show. Even at the shortest possible notice, you still came. And well done for all you've been doing.
Thank you very much.
You're observed and seen.
Thank you very much, DJ Abass. Thank you.
So the Nigerian Youth in Diaspora Awards coming up tomorrow at the Nigeria High Commission, strictly by invite. If you don't have invite, inbox him. Ambassador AMB. It's sold out already. Watch the edition get us the tape when it's done. Can you do that?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And thanks for all the support because you put
always
it on
a pleasure.
On your blog.
We youth must support ourselves. The program is still for the record. We're going on a break. When we come back, we're meeting Fumbe. And welcome back. And the first segment of this show, we kept it serious. So we had somebody talking about security from South Africa, and of course we had somebody talking about youth, Nigerian youth in the UK. So this segment onwards now is going to be entertainment, and my first guest is Fumbe. I'm going to tell you a bit about this guy. We went to Nigeria together. How many years ago, Fumbe?
Okay, maybe
how you did?
I'm good.
I think it was 2007. You know why I remember?
Yes.
Because it was for TA's show.
Yes.
And if you remember, that was the day Yaradua was sworn in.
Really?
Tuesday. It was a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday event.
Right.
And it was a public holiday in Nigeria that day.
I remember it was 2007, but not because of that.
Yeah, no. And that's why I remember that date, And that was your first performance in Nigeria?
My first performance.
Ever.
My first time back in Nigeria and my first performance.
So it's two for the price of one.
Two for the price of one.
Now, and at the time, that was like the one of the premier comedy shows at the time.
Yeah, it was at
Live and Naked with TA. Yeah,
yes.
at Muzon Center at the time.
That's it.
So, which is a good place to kick off this conversation. 12 years later now.
12 years later.
And I'm sure you're very familiar. You've made a lot of inroads into the UK comedy circuit. And I'm sure you also keep an eye on what's happening on the Nigerian.
Absolutely.
So how would you describe the change between then and now?
Now it's crazy because of the corporate aspect of it. There's money in Nigerian. So if I was a British comic, you go through the new material nights and the clubs and whatnot. Yeah. You won't start making money unless you get real TV.
Exactly.
In Nigeria,
which you'll get into as well.
Yes, I'm not in that category. But what I'm saying is, in Nigeria, I envy the fact that you could do a glow tour and you're making way more money than anybody in the UK because there's so much corporate interest in Nigerian comedy.
Okay.
But that affects the comedy.
Okay, because you now have
You can't talk about the sponsors. You have to be nice to the sponsors.
Okay.
You can't back the hands that feed you.
If you had to do that in the UK, would you?
You don't want to be owned by sponsors. So like a corporate gig, for instance, they pay great money.
Okay.
£5,000 for a 1 hour set.
One-offs.
One-offs.
Okay.
But that night,
Your hand and feet bound.
that night, you'll earn that 1,000. You earn that money. They might not laugh. There was a comic who did the PFA Awards.
Yes.
He said he was doing in front of Alex Ferguson, Rio Ferdinand, Paul Scholes. He said Ferguson had his back to him talking to someone. And what are you gonna do? Say,
Sir, I'm here. Sir Alex.
So you have to pay that price. The same thing with the corporate Nigeria. You know, you have to play a game, which affects the comedy, because I think Nigeria is one of the places that's ripe for some kind of comedy to push the culture forward. Because through comedy, you can challenge thoughts and processes, because it's all jest.
Indeed, exactly.
So like in America,
the message is there subliminally.
Subliminally, but it's hidden in jest. And I think Nigeria is the best place for that, because
right now, because of the situation.
It's always been like that, you know, because Nigeria's got so much. It's so complex that comedy is, for me, comedy is
It's a release.
Through true pain as well. Through true pain comes great comedy. You see, when Nigerians, when you're living in Shomolu, for instance, Face Me, I Face You, there's gutter outside, the creativity these kids have is doubled because they have nothing. So they become extra creative. And I feel like we miss that in the comedy.
In the UK?
In the UK and in the comedy industry in Nigeria. We miss the creativity of variation of comedy.
Okay. So what would be a perfect situation in terms of this corporate thing? What would be a perfect situation? Where would you limit them to?
What I would like to see would be like small comedy clubs.
Okay.
A place where Nigerians can actually literally go on stage. There's no corporate pressure, a host, and someone gets to express himself through his words and his experiences. So it doesn't follow down the avenue of this is what the corporate people want, so I have to do jokes like this. What if I'm doing jokes about the fact that we are poor and there's no lights, but I find the wittiness and the intelligence behind it and deliver it through funny stories. And because I always love it when Nigerians stick to the original. When I grew up in Nigeria, it was like Ereoritage. I don't know if I'm saying that properly.
Ereoritage, of course, of course.
Tales by Moonlight. And they were authentic stories.
Indeed,
true stories that reflected our culture and what we were doing at the time. And I would like the comedy and to reflect that as well. Our culture and what we're doing at the time. Because that's more impactful.
Indeed.
And we need that.
You live in the UK.
Yes.
And I know you deal with your issues as in black comedians.
Yes.
You deal with your issues in the UK.
Yes.
How acceptive now is the mainstream of black comics and black comedy in the UK? Yeah.
It's interesting. We're in a hole. I'm a first generation Brit. So on one surface, I'm British, they understand me, I've got the voice. On the second surface, my name is Oluwafemi DJ Abass, which host from Fernham.
It's a mouthful.
He's gonna see that and say, okay, I'm looking forward to this. You know?
So that's still an issue.
It's an issue in a sense where we don't fit in still. Black comedy still seen as black comedy, as opposed to a British experience from a different
but will it ever be seen beyond that though?
No.
Is it possible?
It can't be, because our stories are not, unless I conform to a narrative of I'm British and stay in that realm. But I can't, because I have Nigerian parents.
Indeed.
I have Nigerian friends, cousins, family, and we have a story too. They want to hear my voice.
Exactly.
They want to hear about the things we talk about at home.
Exactly.
They want to see that on the television screen. So there is still an era of, I did a pilot last year for the BBC, and there's still that era. This pilot was supposed to be made for the BBC and shown in Nigeria. That was the plan.
Okay, yeah.
But it didn't get picked up, which is fine. But what I noticed was, once we set the ideas, we were the ideas people. And what the BBC will do would bring in white writers to channel that idea. Exactly. And I don't understand what they're trying to do, let me not lie. But until we're given that freedom to tell our own narratives, to write our own stories, what you have is what you see in terms of a more accepted version of an experience. I want to create a TV show where Yoruba is spoken. That's how my mom spoke to me. You understand? You understand? And I want her, that's the authenticity of the character. I don't want my mom to be speaking that posh Nigerian accent. From Bidia, please bring me the conflicts so that an audience in Sheffield can get it. No, I don't want that. I want the true experience of how we truly are in our normal state, in our homes when we're in Britain. Through the church, through wherever, I want that to be expressed.
Has anything improved in the last decade?
A lot's improved.
I see you on the big screen. I see you here and there.
But the appearances.
Is that index? Okay.
They're not
okay.
platforms.
Okay.
We need platforms. And the appearances.
Our own platforms.
Our own platforms.
What's the
We have
biggest
our
one
own
right now?
writers. None. I don't know any platform unless it's social media, unless you're building it for the social media. But in terms of TV and television and stuff, we're still going through the same channels, knocking on the same door. Do you mind if we come in as well, as opposed to this is the vision? And that's where we're at now. Through YouTube and stuff like that, you can create.
Indeed.
You can meet an audience. You know, if Nigeria had lights and internet, the way the Nigerian views on internet,
No, it's going to be ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because you know us now. We just on YouTube every day.
I tell all my friends in government, I said, look, you guys, the young people are not asking for much.
No.
Bring down the price of data and watch miracles happen.
Yeah.
That's why I tell all of them.
Yeah, that's what we tried to do with the pilot we made. I wanted to come from, and when I do comedy, I'm very aware of how people and Nigerians are seen. Since I walk onto the stage, I say my name is Fumbi. They expect bank detail jokes. They expect fraud jokes.
Immigration
they expect
jokes.
Immigration jokes. They expect ticket attendant jokes
Yeah.
and a bunch of African accents. And I don't do that because
Deliberately.
yes, because
Stereotype.
I don't like it. I don't use the accent. Even when I'm doing my mom, I'll use an English accent.
They've even had this Nigerian accent has evolved out of this English Nigerian accent has
Yeah.
evolved that I see in films now.
Yes.
I see in all kinds of presentation. I'm thinking,
Yes.
where did this accent suddenly
come from.
And
And it's the accent that everybody wants to identify with. And it works, I get it. Nigerians are animated people. When we talk, there's
It's
kind
in
of
the blood.
funny. But what they don't understand is there's depths to people.
Exactly.
You understand? When you're talking to your boys, you're not going to use the same, hello boy. You know, there's certain times you might say, guys, or you might tone it down.
Yeah.
But they don't see the variation.
Can you share with it?
Right. They don't see the variation.
Exactly,
I was
indeed,
on
yeah.
the set one time, BBC production, and the producer, lovely guy. It was about football and the hairstyles in football and the coloured boots. I wrote a nice little piece about that. He wrote a line that said, if my dad saw that hairstyle, he'll say, Fumbi, you look like a fool, a big fool. I delivered the line just like that. He said, Fumbi, could you put the accent on, please? I said, I already started hearing, oh, good. So I said, okay, let me not cause trouble. I'll just do it in a basic tone. I said, Fumbi, if my dad said that, I said, Fumbi, you look like a fool, a big fool. I came back and said, no, you know how your dad talks. I said, my dad talks. I said, have you met my dad? Do you know how he talks? But he wanted the
And at times I see that as buffoonery.
It is.
I don't particularly enjoy
Unless-
some of those. Yeah.
Unless it's that character you're delivering.
Exactly.
But not everybody can represent that energy, that buffoonery. I lived in Nigeria. There's so many different
I can imagine.
variations of
Yeah.
Nigerians that you see. That it's not even that one generic guy. Like, I don't really see that person. You understand? And plus, we're proud. So people mistaken that, Nigerians, wherever they are, security guard to CEO, pride in it. We're going to carry ourselves in a way
Indeed.
of, we are big. So people don't misunderstand that. And that's why I try and capture a more rounded persona of a Nigerian.
And we're going to hopefully be getting a full pot of this.
Yes.
Come the 5th of November.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to that, actually. And it's going to be at the Backyard Comedy Club, and Black and British.
Yes, Black and British. It's
Why
the
did
first
that-
club I
Okay.
actually tried to do comedy in.
Ever.
Yes, I had an argument with my mum.
So that's the symbolism of
Yeah,
using
well,
it now.
I was playing PlayStation too much. You know, how mummy comes in like, what I do, what
Oh,
I do.
can we?
Exactly. Oh, come back here, So I just stormed out the house, went to the comedy. I'd never done comedy before. Said to the security guy, how do I go on there? He said, have you performed before? I said, no. He said, you have to be known to get on here. I said, oh, okay, all right, thank you. I just walked off.
So that's the story for this
That's the
one.
story behind that. But 15 odd years later, I'm back at the Backyard Comedy Club doing my live special, Black and British, which
Okay.
addresses, like you said, being black and being Brit with the ish on it.
Yeah.
That
I get
that
you, yeah.
hole I'm in of
Yeah.
being a first generation
Indeed.
Brit, almost like a foster child, trying to, find my voice in this place.
How can we get tickets?
Tickets on my profiles or social media on the Backyard Comedy Club website,
Okay.
or you can go on my socials. They're all on the link in my bios.
We're going to be, our contribution to this event,
Yes,
from now to the end, that day
Yes.
we'll be pushing it.
I appreciate that.
On the
DJ.
station and on our platforms. That one is,
appreciate it, DJ.
and for me personally, I'm looking forward to
I would like
really.
to come. You
trust
came
me.
to my first show now.
No. Trust me,
Yes.
and I'm bringing my dad for this one too.
Bring my down now.
Fumbe.
Yes,
Always a
pleasure.
pleasure.
Definitely,
Well done.
definitely. Thank you very much.
So that was nice, short and sweet, though. Trust me, nice British Nigerian interview. No long thing. We're going on a break, and when we come back, Terry Akpala is in the studio. Stay tuned.
But people aren't sure now, a lot of open racism going on. That's not cool. Go back to where you came from, People panicking. This is not the Britain I grew up in. I'm like, it's the Britain I grew up in. Where you guys been, How many times I've been told to go back to Africa? I just thought they meant Peckham, Because Because nothing says Africa like Peckham, right? I was in Peckham the other day. I took a selfie, right? Put it on my Facebook. I had cousins back home calling me like, when did you get back? We missed you. It's different times in London. I question myself as well, you know, like, am I British, you know? Because I've got an African name, so people don't see me as British straight away. And I was checking my Wikipedia page, because I do shit like that from time to time. Yeah, if you guys work hard and apply yourselves, you might have Wikipedia pages you can check. Just keep trying, people, keep trying. So I'm checking my Wikipedia page, right? This is what it says on my Wikipedia page, right? It says, Fumbi Omotayo is a British-based comedian. I said, oh, I'm British-based. So I checked Mo Farah's Wikipedia page, right? It said, Mo Farah is a British distance runner. I said, oh, he's a British distance runner. He was born in Somalia. I was born here. And then I realized, you know, you have to earn the right to be British. It's not just given to you, you have to earn it, right? But here's the thing, you're British until you do something wrong, right?
And we're back. And my next guest, sitting right in front of me right now, Terry Alexander AJ, aka Terry Akpala, an Isoko-born Delta man doing Akpala music. How did that happen? How did it? Born in Shelley, how did it happen?
Yeah, well, yeah, I started singing since when I was 9, and yeah, I grew up in the rural area, you know, where you find more of, you know, the Yoruba, like a Yoruba community. So I was an R&B singer, like a guitarist. I play drum for church, I play guitar.
Okay. So you're a musician?
Yeah, like I'm a musician, yeah. I do more of the one-man band thing. So, okay. So from there, I met with Musili Ushola. That's the son of Haruna Ushola. So
course, yeah.
From there we started working, you know. I always followed him to any of his shows, like his concerts, you know. We go for weddings.
So we're kind of understudying him, so
yeah,
to say.
Sure.
Okay.
So I follow him, like I'm always following to, you know, if it's like a burial ceremony, the wedding.
And what would you do with him particularly? Are you a backup singer or just watching?
No, I don't do that for him. Like, he knew there's something in this boy.
Okay.
So you get, so what he could do then was just to us and okay,
hang around me.
What tell him let's show. So I will always be behind him, like watching him whenever he's singing. So what I was doing then was just mimicking him, like.
Okay.
So as a guitarist, the only thing I could do then is just try and, you know, because Akpala has no key.
What kind of guitar do you play?
Lead.
Okay.
I play the lead.
Okay.
So that's for me to just, you know, had the Akpala. Because Akpala music, you can't put it on any key.
It's not scripted.
Yeah.
So you have to go with intuition.
There's no notes, there's no Baba is always just singing. So
and you just go with the flow.
So then I was like, Baba, I'm in love with the shape of you. We put and pull like a magnet. I was like, I'm making so then I wasn't taking it too serious, and you know, till I dropped my song then, Champion Shower 2016. So one would be, this guy is making sense. So from there, and thank God today, the sound is making wave, you know. So
it's when Musili Haruna Ushola came back, it was like a renaissance, a comeback for Akpala music in itself.
No, that's his son.
No. Yeah, Musili. I'm talking about Musili. When he started, it was like a comeback for Akpala. Because the Harunas and the Dada Ekpo Akaras had done their thing.
It was doing Fuji then.
Yeah.
There's Haruna Ushola's son that does Akpala too. Gani, that's the firstborn. Not even Musili Ushola.
But he wasn't as heavy as Musili.
Yeah.
I'm saying when Musili came out,
Musili,
it was like it was a major comeback.
So
trust me. So you broke all things, and then on the back of that, we had your lights. We had what's the other gentleman who does Akpala in hip hop as well. His name escapes me right now. It's just like it was
Akpala hip hop.
You know, as in Akpala in what you do.
We have Legally Mukaiba.
Legally Mukaiba, exactly.
I don't know. Ayla Mawura and a few of them like that.
That was like it was almost like a comeback, especially to the listening audience. Now the irony was, I was born in the UK and we returned back when I was 5.
Okay.
And I remember at the time we had this Agrondic, and my dad was a music man. You know, I'm sure that's where I got all this from.
Okay.
And he would buy Haruna Ishola buy. Now, Omo Mokonsara si won boti she si sumoni lammo she any
Who sang down?
Oroki Social Club ni Ilu Osogbo Haruna Ishola.
Haruna Ishola, no.
He did this particular song for this group called Oroki Social Club.
Okay.
Near Osogbo. Okay. And my dad would play that thing. My parents live in Osogbo. They'll play that thing non-stop. And that stuck on me. Okay. So when I heard Musiliu, now, if you know the thing about Akpala, now I'm the one doing the interview now. If you know the thing about Akpala music, it is elitist Yoruba music. Yeah, sure. In fact, when they perform it, they sit down.
Yeah.
They don't stand up.
Yeah, that's Akpala music.
Yeah. So in terms of Terry Akpala right now, when you were kind of like thinking in your head now from performing with him and playing the music, what picture did you have in your head of how you wanted to look and sound?
I can still, aside from the Akpala hip hop that I'm doing.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I'm even trying to do now. Like I'm trying to.
Which is your signature?
Yeah, signature. Yeah. Because I'm trying to. Yeah, I just dropped a song, Akpala Wi-Fi. That's like the undiluted Akpala, not
core stuff.
She gets so what I'm trying to do now is like I'm trying to put myself in another market where people can also book me, like for a wedding.
For bread and butter stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, that I'll be doing the same Akpala, because I can do it.
Okay.
Give me the money, make I pop champagne. Give me the money, make I pop rose. I get the money to do but the difference between me and Musi Shola is just that I'll be doing 50% Akpala, 50% Yoruba, 50% English. Okay. Akpala is always the Yoruba language kind of. But mine, I want to add like introduction of the English language. So I'm trying to make it two different markets now.
And I totally understand, because what sustains a lot of these indigenous guys are the bread and butter daily, Friday, Saturday events. So you don't do that right now. You do more of the concerts.
Yeah, like more
of the like pop artists.
Concert. But I'm switching to the naming ceremony. So now you can book me. I'm going to that level where you can book me.
But you know what the challenge is though? Yeah. To manage a band, it's not easy.
I have my own band already.
Okay.
I have my own band already. So I want to collect audio money. You understand? I don't want just to collect the, aside from the
concert money,
Smade, whatever, Whiskey show. I also want to be like,
I want to do 58.
I want to go back to Nigeria, do Oshogbo, do Akure, do everywhere.
Okay.
So,
and how far are you away from that, you reckon, right now, based on your plans? How far are you away from achieving that? Are you doing anything in London on this trip?
Yeah, like I'll be back in 5 months, because I'm going back to Nigeria on Monday, so I'll be back in London in 5 months time, because that's the plan. Okay. So I'm coming back to do like my own concert, not like the full crowd, like a passive kind of, like a meetup, few people, So that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to, by the grace of God, me and my team will trying to work out on that. Okay.
Are you working on an album currently?
Yeah, I'm dropping my own mixtape January next year by God's grace. Okay. So a lot of things.
Okay.
We thank God, we're going there.
Well, just know that whatever you do, we are here to support you.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes, sir.
No Lily on that one.
You,
an interesting thing happened earlier this year. Veronica Vega and Quavo dropped $1 million.
Yeah.
And they sampled Haruna Ishola. And I remember the truth. The first time I actually heard it, I heard it at home. And I thought maybe there was a mix-up on my laptop. That was what I thought happened. I thought maybe just something happened between my Serato and YouTube. And then I heard it again later. Yeah. And then I'm on a DJ's forum. It's like, has anybody heard this song with Haruna Ishola on it? And I was having a conversation with my friend, Ayoshona. I'm like, have you heard this song? This Haruna.
It was even Bizu that sent it to me on WhatsApp. He said, he called me, tell what's up, have you heard this song, Veronica? Okay.
Shout out to Bizu.
Yeah. When I heard this song, I wanted to call Baba Musili Shola. But then I was thinking, what if I call Baba and Baba started bringing up, issue like, they want to, start calling people from like.
But that's what happened. When I was having a chat with my friend, because what happened was, he's actually working on a case I can't disclose right now, but he's working on a case with another Nigerian artist who kind of like used the song. So they're kind of working on how to not go to court, just kind of like have a sit down and mediate and negotiate. And then that song came up. And I'm like, and he was like, he wanted to know, do the family or the estate of Haruna Ishola first, do they know that this song is being used? Who did they contact? But you know what those guys did brilliantly? they used the song. And you know what they call a split sheet? You know, when basically a song is made, they split it. What they did was they had a section for Haruna Ishola. They didn't know who he was, but they were keeping his money for whenever
okay,
they showed up.
They showed up, yeah.
And that was what they did, which I think was very brilliant.
But sorry, but I don't think Baba knew about this thing you're saying.
Which Baba?
Musili Shola.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm telling you. After that time, he didn't, but he probably knows now. But I can tell you, after what they did was they kept kind of the split on the side.
Okay.
Because the issue is really who owns the rights. It may not even be Baba that owns the rights. It could be his record label. Just like when Sonny Ade and Aburo had their issue. You know, there's a certain section of Sonny Ade songs.
Baba is not under any record label.
No, I'm just saying we don't know. Okay, you know, I'm saying like with Sonny Ade and Aburo right now. Yeah. With King Sonny, with Obey, you hear a lot of his evergreen, but you don't hear a lot of Sonny's because most of those masters, the early stuff, are owned by Aburo, and that case is still
still there, still there,
interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully, if I hear them use your own music anyway, don't worry, I will start the fight for you, and I'll get my cut later.
Yes.
What dates do you have in December in Nigeria?
Dates?
Performance dates. Are you doing anything in December?
None for now.
Not for now.
No.
Okay.
For now.
I'll probably see you more at private parties.
By God's grace, bookings will come in.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I'm a
huge
huge fan.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
well
sir.
done. Keep doing it.
Yes,
and we're going on a break. When we come back, we're coming back to comedy. Pencil is in the building, is having a show this weekend alongside his friend as well, Lasisi Eleno. For those of you who have never seen this guy, in fact, I got confused in the studio today as well because I thought I knew him, but I just realized that I'm more used to the disfigured digital face. He's coming on the show right now. We'll be talking about the event they're having this weekend. Stay tuned.
Marriage records, face bond everything. Dirty Apala, Obere Medene, Amo Isoko. For you, I don't run. That's the way I sorrow. If you know that about make you go borrow. You gonna come today, not be tomorrow. After the money, I might have photo. Inside time we dance, I brought music. Come inside the shrine, baby, got your Moroccan. It's for way the African, show you the me. My fellow Nigerians are really feeling me, show me, I no care where you come from. Put on your bata, make you boogie down. Smiles on your face, make you know from. African melody can never run down. I'm with the noise, I call la music to hip hop, yeah. For Africa, they're the era. All over Nigeria, they're the era. I'm with the noise, I call la music to hip hop, yeah. For Africa, they're the era. All over Nigeria, they're the era. If it's happy, dance, no day, yeah. Farabale, would you do me? Fine boys, but you got plenty for you. Farabale. If you know what dance, I'm Joe. See what you learn, I feel passage. What you move school shit. We dance them together, no time for rubbish. This music industry, no be sure. As I sing my song, but for 1 minute. Apala hip hop, more too good. From Milan to the island, one Joe Shere. Yeah. I'm a party, them know me. Then they say, I get many songs like me. Yeah. For those who know me, you better hear my song so you go know me. Yeah. I'm with the noise, I call them.
And welcome back. And we're running up the show in humor and in style. And I have with me, I'll first introduce this gentleman to my right hand side. He's not called Pencil. I just saw some of the uploads from some of his past events, which I thought were quite recent, but he's just telling me now that he's had some of those events a while ago. Great show.
Thank you so much.
And I don't know how to introduce this man. You all know him as Lasisi Eleno, and the face you see is different from. In fact, I even confused him. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Great to have you. Great.
You.
And I've been trying to come to terms with the new face ever since you kind of like. Why did you feel the need to unveil?
Well, market was starting to spoil.
How do you mean?
People were not sure of the identity. A lot of people thought they couldn't partner with someone they couldn't put a face to.
The brand issue?
Yeah, brand.
Corporate?
Yeah, it became an issue.
But were you getting inquiries before then?
Of course I was,
Okay.
and at the same time, I couldn't manage it as much as I wanted to because a few people who knew me at the time started to, say a few things, post a few things, say it was compromising what I really wanted to stand for. So I felt, okay, the best way to do this, if it came from me and not just some people posting things, and then it would just ruin the whole plan I had. So I figured the best way to do it is just unveil myself and let everybody just know, okay, this is the man behind it.
And how, in the first place, did you think of kind of like doing what you did with the digital, whatever, scramble, or whatever you call it?
Brother, not frustration. My brother, it's true, frustration. It gives you insight on things you never knew existed. It happened. It was
a first.
Yeah, it was a first, and I don't know how or what idea, what led to it, but it was just a random thing I saw, I used. It was there on my phone for a while. I never posted it.
You just looked at it?
It was just there, and one day I had beef, and it got stuck in my teeth. And nothing ever gets stuck in my teeth because I have scattered teeth.
Okay.
So I picked up my phone, went to the filter because I know it would definitely make my teeth bigger. And I was trying to use the toothpick to pick it out. So I made a video complaining and ranting about how I just had a little beef and now I'm, using toothpick, and it was just disturbing. While I was doing that, I recorded it. So after the whole thing, it was on my phone. I was watching and I laughed. It was funny. So I think days after, I posted it on my WhatsApp status.
Was it during the 15-second era?
No, it was not. It was, I used Snapchat.
Okay.
It's a Snapchat app.
So it's a longer,
it's a longer video, so like 47 seconds. So I uploaded it on my WhatsApp, and a lot of, especially ladies, they found it really disgusting. Like, oh, why are you making yourself look like this? Blah, blah, blah. Few guys liked it. They're like, oh, it's so funny. And that's how it started.
And you put it on Instagram?
I didn't put that one on Instagram. Okay. It felt too weird to put on Instagram. If I had put it, a lot of people would have been somehow. But anyway, I started doing more of those videos, me constantly ranting about things that were just pissing me off. And that was how it all started.
Wow. And the rest, as they say.
Yes, history.
So, blown.
So now that you've broken, now you're out there.
Yeah.
What was the initial response like?
Oh.
Now that we know your face.
Oh, I didn't get that. How, what do you mean?
What was the response? Everyone's been used to this face.
Oh.
And suddenly now there's a new face now.
I feel like it's just life. We all get familiar with certain things. When it starts to change, it's difficult to adjust, but in time or with time, they will certainly adjust. And so far, I think it's been good,
But you still kept
yes,
that
of
character.
Course, I've kept the character, but
then now you're with pencil, with
time,
a new character.
over time, people have gotten so used. I think what people need to understand, or what people have grown to understand now, is my ability to tell stories and my storytelling ability. So on stage and off stage, even the rants that I do on social media, it's me telling stories of things that have happened in the past or happening presently. So they still can relate to that part of me, which is storytelling. So even if I'm not with the filter on stage and the shows I've done in Lagos and everywhere in Nigeria, it still carries that feel that they can say, oh, this is definitely Lasisi speaking. Which brings me to, because you're not just a comedian, you actually have your own brand. You have your own brand, so you just don't feature, you actually feature people on your... When did you find him funny? Because being on social media, telling jokes for 40 seconds, 1 minute, it's a whole different experience to actually being on stage. So if you were to liken both characters right now, him on stage and him on, which would you say?
Him on stage now, because he killed my Abuja show. In 2018, when we, in Lagos, a lot of comedians do their shows, So when I said I was going to use some of the social media guys, they were like, what are they coming to do?
But you can understand though.
Yeah, you understand. Like, what are they coming to do? What are they, I told them, no worry, don't worry. This is what I want to do. You understand? I spoke with my team. They said, it's fine. I called Lasisi. I said, Lasisi, you are not doing the, You're going to do stand-up. He said, Baba, I said, you are going to do it.
Was that your first stand-up?
No.
Okay.
I said, you are going to do it on my show. Okay. I don't know, because the other guys, I brought them on when I was performing on stage to just come do their own part, Shaggy and live, but he did stand-up. We liked it. After the event, the reviews we got was on point. A lot of people were saying, Lasisi stole the show, So when I was doing the Abuja edition, I also called him that, Lasisi, you have to come. He killed the Abuja show. and since then we've been working Lagos, Abuja, and here we're in London. So he's on stage now. He's good. So I prefer him on stage
to
the Instagram.
Now I've had a whole host of Nigerian comedians come on this show.
Yeah.
From stage to skit, and I always ask this question all the time because there's so many forms of comedy, and as social media, comedy is a new thing, Nidu has been here, and he's done very, very well. Josh Too Funny has been here. So and now you are doing comedy shows where you are actually fusing the two.
Yeah.
Now, have all the acts you've brought on from social media so far, have they delivered? All of them?
Some of them.
Okay.
Some of them, like...
There's a different skill.
Not really some of them. Just Lasisi, some of them struggled.
So it's not easy?
Yeah, it's not easy to come. Okay. Like, I was talking to a guy, his name is Sidi Talker. I don't know if you know Sidi Talker, the new guy now.
Destalker?
No, not Destalker. Sidi Talker is an online comedian.
Okay.
I was talking to him like on Wednesday. I was telling him that you can do stand-up.
Okay.
He has quite a number of followers on Instagram, and his buzz online are effective. I was talking to him. What do you think? Can you do stand-up? Don't you think you can do stand-up? He said, bros, no. No, if you do stand-up, they leave stand-up for now. I said, but you can do it because it's the same thing you do on Instagram. You can also tell that kind of story.
But I don't think it's the same thing. What do you think? I don't think it's the same thing. Mood, temperature.
I feel like it's just a little different.
You can cut the skit 10 times in your room.
In my own observation over time, that I have been doing videos on social media, I think telling a joke in that space of time, in 40 seconds or 1 minute,
it's harder.
Trust me, it's not as easy as people think it is.
I don't think it is either, but you have you have the privilege of,
and it's the same
working
thing
on it over and over.
For stage, that's why you have time to rehearse.
It's one take on stage.
Yes, that's why you have time to be in your bathroom or your mirror and whatever.
Which do you prefer?
I think I prefer the stand-up now.
The money? Is it the money?
It's not the money. Actually,
are you sure?
So far, I actually make more money off social media than even because most.
So
of
what
the
are
time,
your income streams on social media? Endorsement,
brands, branding.
Kind of products would come to you?
Brands. Yes, any kind of product, any multinational company. International,
Can
local.
you mention
Numbers.
Zeros. How many zeros?
Now what for you?
I they try to locate to
Nigeria. But he does a couple of
because most of the time
I
think what we do for ourselves here is actually to support one another, so that when your time comes, it could be the same could be done. So but for me, I feel like it is strengthening me as a person, as a brand, as a comedian. Yes, I can do skits, and yes, it's just funny, but trust me, I feel like just it pushed me more to even do like the stand-up now. It makes me more determined because I know, okay, this is not me trying to make a skit for 2 minutes and people laughing about it. No, in their houses. I want to be able to have people glued to the stories I want to tell them because I love poetry, so I love the ability to tell stories. And I think I've noticed, growing up as a child, I never thought I would be a comedian. 3-4 years ago, I never thought I would do comedy,
Is that all you do though?
Well, that is not just all I do.
Okay, I mean, at the moment, your main income right now.
MC for events.
He hosts events as well.
Yeah, he does.
Which would be impossible with your old face. So it makes sense to...
It's going to be impossible. How do I mask myself? And, it was just difficult. Here, people say, oh, if it's in the UK, you get somebody to help you with the mask. But in Nigeria, imagine I want to take a sip of drink. I have to lift it up. I'm like, I can't keep up with that lifestyle.
Dealt with a lot of
I'm
stuff.
like, I can't keep up with that. Let me just reveal this thing once and for all. So I feel like it is making me strong as a person in comedy.
What happened right just now? Does that happen a lot? With me not recognizing you?
Oh, a lot of times.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes I'm like, okay, I have like over 2 million followers on Instagram. But funny enough, so many people that follow me still don't know what I look like. Okay. Maybe it just happens that the days I post my real pictures or videos, they are not there. They didn't see it. They just happen to only see. I still have people sending me messages daily saying, oh my God, I'm just seeing your picture for the first time. Like, how? I've been doing interviews, shows, movies.
It's a connect. I think it's the connect, mental connect.
So I don't know, but it still happens. I still get people telling me they still did not know that was me until just like last week. I'm like, how come? So yeah, I think I really like it. It's making me understand more in the comedy business, and I like what it's doing for me so far.
Pencil, when I first met you, because we've met before, and you were, I didn't know if you had your comedy brand at the time. When did you start your
started
brand?
in 2016.
Just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that been?
Great.
It's very different from just being a comedian, though.
Yeah.
Setting up your own brand. And
it's very different but I thank God I have a team.
Okay.
You know, sometimes they allow me, rest, and they do most of the beats.
Okay.
So my own is just to think of the material,
find the money.
Find the money. Just happens we're going for this sponsorship meeting today.
Okay.
Just get ready, get dressed, and So that's just it. It's been great for me. The money,
Comedy is what you do. That's your thing.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
That's what I do. Comedy
Money
and yeah, very, very.
I know. I'm just want to. I want to reassure
like-
myself.
Since when we're coming today, you told me you had just 2,000 in your account. Can you explain that to
This guy is funny.
Make
I told him that I just had to. I have 200 naira, 2,000 naira in my account. He said, "Baba, this one at the main account." Oh yeah, wait. He now showed me his own account, and I said, you senior me small for your
Because
own
I also
account.
had 2,000 naira in my account.
In one account.
In my
He now
account.
said in one account, but it's good.
It's a great story to tell, though.
Yeah,
Really.
it's paid for me, comedy. And now I like the fact that people are giving me that attention in Nigeria now. The
Yeah.
respect, from my senior colleagues also,
How
because
hard is it to break out from being a
An
minnow?
underdog, yeah.
Because I always say the distance between, we hear the big songs,
Yeah.
but because I DJ,
Yeah.
so I know from when artists come and say, I get this new song,
Yeah.
to that song blowing,
Yeah.
that distance is not easy.
It's a
And
while.
it's the same with everything. So from coming out and starting to feature,
Yeah.
you wonder. So people, if you're really good, okay, they take notice,
Yeah.
and then you need to now up it again,
Yeah.
and up to where now. How difficult is that journey?
It is difficult, actually.
It's difficult. But before then, I want to say this. Before I started doing my own show, I begged for a lot of platform. I posted it on Instagram 2 weeks ago. Said, growing up wasn't really easy in this industry. I begged for a lot of platform, and nobody. Sometimes you go for an event and you be like, "But Mama, just do this." You'll be like, if you do.
You can understand for some though at times when they're not sure. You
Yeah.
built a brand, you have to be sure,
Yeah.
I went for one. My friend, I won't mention his name. We had a fight, not like a fight. We had a misunderstanding, and he showed a week, to when we had that misunderstanding. And I begged him, bro, can I be on your show? That was in 2014.
Okay.
He said no. I was his boy then. Also, I was looking up to him, and in 2015, I said, bros, I beg now, forgive me for waiting happened the last time. He said, Papa, no, don't tell me that you can't go. So I cried. I said to myself, this was at Muson Center, I can't remember vividly. I said to myself, I'm going to do my own show here at Muson, and I pray it works out well for me. I left in 2016. We started the plan, and it turned out well. Sold out and everything. So now some of those guys that actually turned me down, then now they'll be like, when they see my show, they'll be like, we feel can support you now. How far?
Would you let them come? Though?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Sure. Like there was one that in my Lagos event, he wrote me and said, I feel can support you. I said, fine, no wahala. Let me do confirm for you and all that. He came and he performed. He was even telling me that he was supposed to come for this my Abuja show. I said, okay, I'll talk to my team to book its flight ticket for you.
That,
and, but he didn't make it. So
would every great comedian be one that can have a brand to market like that?
No.
With a great comedian, someone who's great, you're a great comedian, can you make that journey to actually now building your own kind of like event brand you can take around? Will everybody be able to do that?
I don't think everybody will. Not everybody will be great or successful. Same thing is applicable to
different dynamics.
Yeah. Normal,
some people, they just like their comfort zone. This thing we are doing is risk, it's risk. Sometimes you get, how much you spend on all
of course, I know I organize events,
stage,
so I can imagine.
light, publicity, and
travel and all that.
they don't want to take that
It's a different skill.
Yeah, they don't want to take that risk. They'll be like, man, now on a big show, more live show for now, more package show, we'll come perform. But it's not helping them.
Because I found myself in situations where a lot of people come from Nigeria like that, and the big names, and I won't mention names, but I just realized that they will struggle here, not because people don't know them, but people just don't buy into them as an event brand. And I see so many of them want to come to London, you know. And that was part of when I heard, I said, Pencil is coming to London. I said, okay. And then I went online and I realized, how did I miss all these things? I saw all those things and I actually did like it. And I saw so many faces I didn't know who did well. So many faces I didn't know.
And what I do now in Lagos, I don't use the big names again. No, I don't use them again.
Because they're too expensive?
No,
or
expensive.
A bit of stress?
No, not even stress.
Just
because the boys now,
fresh
the
and
guy,
hot, fresh and hot guys.
You understand? Like he was at my Abuja event now. Some of the reviews I got was like, wow. Some of these boys are just funny, but no platform.
Well, you know, let's talk about your event this weekend. When did you plan this event? I only found out, to be honest with you, I found out late last week. I'm like, how would you didn't know? But it's a nice, cute kind of event you're having.
Yeah, like
this Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, this Sunday.
Okay.
We started planning this event, like we talked about it like in January.
Okay.
Because in January we started booking dates for all our events for the year. So we said, okay.
Events mode.
Yeah. You know, we said June will be for Lagos, September will be for Abuja, October will be for London, then December will be for Port Harcourt.
Okay.
So we started planning it. So we finished the Lagos one, finished the Abuja one. So we decided to face the.
Who will be on this particular bill?
I have my friend Ajabo. Ajabo is coming. I have Lasisi is here already, and I have some comedians supporting me from.
You probably have two for the price of one with him, because he will do his normal digital face.
And I'm happy.
And do this.
And I'm happy with the kind of friendship. You know, we just connect.
That's important too.
We just, there's one guy that I'll call anytime and is willing to support. We are going to this place, is willing to support. You know, so we just, as in our friendship, we are just like brothers now.
And where's the event happening?
It's happening at the Broadway Theatre, Barking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Also doing Liverpool, and we're doing Manchester, and we're doing Birmingham.
In what order? Well,
next week. Next week.
Yeah,
next week. We're doing Liverpool, Birmingham, and Manchester.
Awesome. Okay. Well, if you're watching the show and you'd like to be a part of Pencil's event coming up this Sunday, it's happening at the Broadway Theatre in Barking. The Broadway Theatre in Barking, and you can get tickets via Akilulu Jerkins or through Events Entertainment Experts on Instagram. And also, or you can check our website, djmedia.com, to get more information about the event. And there's a whole line of, you know, acts on the bill. Of course, Lasisi Eleno. My wife would like to see you anyway, so they meet the real you. She's a fan, so stay tuned and look out for that, guys. This was a very quick, short one. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
We'll do the one-on-one definitely, and we'll have a great time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And how you take care of that name?
That name was my teacher in high school. I used to be a very good noisemaker. That name, man, you know, it was given to me by my teacher in high school. You know, I used to be very good at that name, man.
Okay. You should be on 5% of all your income. At least.
One day she called me. She said, "Pencil, you are going everywhere now. You are going everywhere now." You know, thank God. Yeah, thank God.
Awesome. Well, it's been another edition of For the Record. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week.
My name is Pencil. Please, if you are a lady here, check your eye. Someone's eyelash is missing. I'm serious, check your eye. If you don't look, they look surprised now. Is your eye, this your eyelash, even when the rain they fall, it will still cover you. Be like umbrella. Hey, this country don't red though. I go Chicken Republic today, so I won't buy chicken. They say they no get. For Chicken Republic, they no get chicken. This is the only country where you go ask a blind girl out. She go say, "Sorry, I'm seeing someone." You can't wonder which eye. She take they see the person. You go visit blind person. As you won't go, you go say, "Let me see you off." With which eye? This country don't read though.
Hello everybody, like this here again. Some just happened right now. I'm so angry right now. Lately I've been meeting some set of people that just don't know when to shut up. I too know people everywhere. I entered a boutique. I wanted to buy more than one thing. As I finished shopping, I gave the guy my Visa card. He said, Baba, should I slot it in? No, scissors it. I said, listen, I want to pay for them one by one. He was spinning his car key, telling me, bro, but do you eat that key into my eye? Telling me, do you know you can pay for it all at once? Mr. Sandra, there's ugu in your teeth. I can see last week vegetable smiling at me. Use the mirror. The mirror is your friend. I don't know will not wound you. If he knows that much, he will know that the more I pay with my Visa card, the more I stand a chance to win a free trip to watch Total AFCON 2019. Shut up your mouth. Hello, sir. One more thing. Change your perfume. It's smelling like fish stew.